Emma, a user operations specialist, came home late at night after working overtime when she encountered a fainted man in a suit. She kindly rescued him and brought him back to her rental house, only to discover that he had lost his memory and couldn't even remember his name. Suddenly, two worlds squeezed into the small 30-square-meter apartment. By the third vibration of her phone in her work pants pocket, Emma had finally typed the last line of user retention data into her Excel sheet. The time in the bottom right corner of the screen clicked precisely to 23:01, and only the light above her cubicle remained on in Aurora Labs' open office, a startup crammed into a downtown Oakland high-rise. The white walls were plastered with product iteration schedules and pizza coupons. The cold, harsh light glinted off empty Starbucks via packets and stacks of user survey questionnaires, while the air from the AC vent carried the bitter tang of instant coffee, late-night staple, for her as a user operations specialist. Done. She leaned back in her gaming chair, rubbing her sore shoulders, her knuckles pale from 3 hours of gripping the mouse. When she slid her USB drive into her canvas tote, the zipper stuck 3 times. Sophia had given her the bag for college graduation, and it now bore unremovable coffee stains and frayed edges, yet it was more practical than any other bag in her closet. Grabbing her gray Patagonia jacket off the back of her chair, she tiptoed toward the elevator, her sneakers making no sound on the linen floor. Maria, the janitor, always napped on the break room couch after 10 p.m., and Emma didn't want to wake her. The last BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit, train to Fruitvale Station departed at 23:05. Missing it meant an $80 Uber ride, no small sum for Emma. With an annual salary of $68,000, she paid $2,800 a month for her 400-square-foot apartment in East Oakland and sent $800 to her parents in Iowa each month to help with their corn farm expenses. $80 could buy 3 days' worth of groceries from Trader Joe's, 2 bottles of fertilizer for the wilting pothose on her balcony, or 4 cups of hot taro ball milk tea from Share Tea on International Boulevard. But she was too late. When Emma sprinted to the 12th Street BART station, the metal security gate had already clicked shut, its cold surface reflecting her messy brown hair and dark circles. She couldn't help muttering, "Damn product manager," at the empty platform. At 5 p.m., Alex had suddenly pulled her into a meeting, dumping 3 alternative directions for the Winter User Activation campaign and demanding a proposal by Monday, trapping her at work until midnight. Gritting her teeth, she opened the Lime app and scanned a scooter, wiping rainwater off the seat with her sleeve. Oakland's autumn rains always came unannounced. Just as she tucked her phone into her jacket's inner pocket, her AirPods played a voice memo from Sophia. If you keep overworking like this, next week's massage will be all about the knots in your shoulder blades. I booked Kong Tea in Chinatown for 10 a.m. Saturday, we'll get Hainanese chicken rice next door after, and I'm buying the boba. No work talk, got it? Emma smiled and replied, got it. Her finger brushed the photo Sophia had sent of the milk tea shop, cheese strawberry flavor, her favorite. She'd last had it 3 months ago for her birthday, when Sophia had secretly ordered a cake, and they'd watched Emily in Paris on Netflix in her apartment. As she turned into the alley where her apartment building stood, the scooter's headlights suddenly illuminated a hunched figure under a street lamp, and she instinctively squeezed the brakes. It was a man. He wore a dark gray suit, expensive, even to Emma's untrained eye. She recognized the Brunello Cucinelli cut, with subtle embroidered patterns on the cuffs, but it was smudged with mud, his tie askew, his forehead pressed against the cracked brick wall. His shoulders trembled slightly, as if he was enduring pain. Emma hesitated. Her mom always warned her, don't meddle in strangers' business at night in Oakland, especially men. Just last month, Lily, an Asian girl from the next building, had been tricked into giving up her phone by a man pretending to have low blood sugar. But the next second, the man collapsed to the ground with a thud, his hands scraping the rough concrete, blood beading up in the streetlight. Emma's heart lurched. She propped the scooter against the curb, knelt down, and gently touched his arm. Sir, are you okay? Low blood sugar. Or, the man slowly opened his eyes. They were light brown, his pupils like amber submerged in water, his eyelashes long, but they were filled with blank confusion, like a lost child. He opened his mouth, his voice hoarse as sandpaper on wood. Where am I? At the corner of 19th Street and Broadway. Emma handed him an unopened Evian from her pocket. She'd brought it for her overtime shift. Can you stand? The ground's cold. The man took the water, his fingers long and neatly trimmed, but ice cold. His hands shook so violently as he twisted the cap that most of the water spilled onto his khaki trousers. After 2 sips, he looked up again, still confused. I can't remember my name. My head hurts. Emma froze. She ventured, do you have a phone? Remember a family member's number? Or which neighborhood you live in? He shook his head, his brow furrowed as if straining to recall, before closing his eyes in pain. Every time I try to think, my head feels like it's splitting. A cold wind carrying rain droplets blew past, and Emma shivered. She glanced at the watch on his wrist, dark blue dial, no logo, but she'd seen one just last week when she'd accompanied Sophia to a watch store in San Francisco's Union Square, a Patek Philippe Calatrava. Worth 6 figures. Looking back at his bleeding hand, still oozing blood, she couldn't leave him freezing in the alley. Come on, let's go to my apartment first. Emma helped him stand. It's just 50 feet ahead. We'll clean your wound, and figure things out tomorrow. He didn't resist, leaning most of his weight on her. He was at least 6 feet 3 inches, and Emma's shoulder ached after just 2 steps. As they reached her building, she noticed a half-torn business card sticking out of his suit pocket, only the letter E visible, the rest was smudged with mud. Climbing the stairs left Emma breathless. The 1920s building had no elevator, and she lived on the 6th floor, usually pausing twice even when alone. The man seemed to notice her struggle, gently pulling away to grip the wall and walk slowly. I can manage. When she opened the door, Emma felt a twinge of embarrassment. The apartment was so small, bed, desk, and couch crammed into one room. Her clean t-shirts and jeans hung on the balcony, and a teddy bear keychain swayed in the wind. She pushed him onto the couch. Sit here. I'll get the first aid kit. She'd bought the kit last year after cutting her hand while chopping vegetables. It only contained iodine, cotton swabs, and band-aids. The man sat on the edge of the couch, his back straight like a student in class, his eyes curiously scanning the room. Sticky notes on the desk read, submit winter campaign proposal Monday, water the pot hose, call mom and dad. A photo of her and Sophia at Yosemite hung on the wall, both grinning with burgers in hand. The pot hose on the balcony drooped, its leaves yellow. She'd neglected it with all her overtime. Is this your home? He asked, his voice steadier than before. Rented. Emma knelt in front of him, opening the iodine. Give me your hand. It might sting a little. He obeyed. When Emma's fingertip touched his hand, she paused. His palms were smooth, no calluses, neatly trimmed nails, nothing like hers, rough from typing and doing dishes. She gently dabbed iodine on his wound, and he didn't flinch, just staring at the top of her head. Suddenly, he said, you smell like toast. Emma let out a small laugh, brushing it off. I threw together some whole wheat toast for breakfast this morning. Guess the smell stuck to my jacket. She tucked a straggly strand of hair behind her ear, a faint flush creeping up her cheeks. She'd pulled an all-nighter until 1 a.m. finishing work, and hadn't had a chance to wash her hair. It was definitely a frizzy mess, sticking up in little tufts at the crown. But when she glanced up at him, his eyes were soft and steady, no furrowed brow, no quick look away, not even a flicker of distaste. Just quiet, unwavering attention, like her messy hair didn't matter one bit. After cleaning the wound, Emma rummaged in her closet for an oversized white hoodie and gray sweatpants, leftovers from her ex-boyfriend Jake, whom she'd never gotten around to throwing out, and now wore as loungewear. Put these on, she handed them to him, her cheeks warm. Bathroom's over there, there's hot water. You know how to change, right? He took the clothes but stood frozen, the tips of his ears pink. Not really. He stared at the hidden buttons on his suit jacket, his brow furrowed as if studying a complex machine. Emma realized, his suit was custom, with hidden buttons on the collar and cuffs, and his amnesia had left him disoriented. She turned her head, her voice dry. Just take off the suit jacket first, then unbutton the shirt from top to bottom. Take your time. I'll make some porridge. The kitchen was tiny, so cramped she could barely spin around without bumping the old fridge. Emma grabbed the bag of millet from the cabinet. Her mom had mailed it over, noting it tasted far better than anything she could pick up at American grocery stores. She poured in some water, twisted the stove knob to ignite the flame, and a small smile tugged at her lips as she recalled the charred eggs she'd ruined that morning. As soft rustling drifted over from the living room, she pictured him in that oversized hoodie. He must look like a kid who'd borrowed his dad's clothes, swimming in the loose fabric. Sure enough, when she carried the millet porridge out, she found a white ghost standing in the middle of the living room. The hoodie reached his knees, the sleeves rolled 3 times to expose his wrists, the sweatpants hanging loose on his waist, revealing a sliver of pale ankle. His brown hair was messy, bangs falling over his eyes, and when he saw Emma, there was a hint of suffer wrong in his gaze. Did I put this on wrong? No, it looks fine. Emma set the porridge on the coffee table and handed him a spoon. eat something first. You fainted, probably hungry. He held the spoon awkwardly, as if it was his first time using ceramic. He blew on a spoonful of porridge before taking a bite, his eyes suddenly lighting up. It's good. He ate slowly but finished every last grain, even scraping the bowl clean like a kid who hadn't had enough. Emma's heart softened. She pulled out her phone, opened the East Bay Neighbors Oakland local forum, and typed a missing person post. Missing person male, around 30, 6 feet 3 inches, wearing a dark gray custom suit, amnesiac, cannot recall name/address. Found at the corner of 19th Street and Broadway at 11 p.m. on October 16. Contact Emma at 510XXXXXX if you have information. Thank you. She handed him the phone. I posted this. If someone contacts us tomorrow, we'll find out who you are. Is that okay? He looked up at her, dependence in his eyes. Whatever you think is best. His palm was warm. When he'd handed the phone back, their hands brushed, and Emma's heart skipped a beat. Emma gave him the blanket from the couch. You'll sleep here tonight. It's a bit small, sorry. I'll go shower. Don't touch the stove, okay? I burnt eggs this morning and almost set off the smoke alarm. The couch was indeed too small. His legs hung over the edge when he lay down. Before Emma went into the bathroom, she glanced back. He'd closed his eyes, but his brow was furrowed, as if having a bad dream. She gently pulled the blanket up to his shoulders, then headed to the bathroom. After showering, Emma lay in bed, unable to sleep. She thought of his satisfied expression while eating porridge, his confusion when he couldn't remember his name, and her bank account, only $2,000 left. Rent was due in 5 days, and she hadn't sent her parents money yet. Had she been too impulsive, taking in a stranger? But she remembered last winter, a rainy night, she'd worked until 1 a.m., fainted from low blood sugar at the BART station, and a stranger, a Chinese auntie, had given her a candy and waited with her for half an hour until a taxi arrived. The auntie had said, "It's hard enough struggling alone out here, help when you can." Just doing a good deed, Emma whispered to herself, slowly closing her eyes. The next morning, Emma was woken by the smell of burning. She jumped up and rushed to the kitchen, where the white ghost stood at the stove, spatula in hand, eggs in the pan charred black, the smoke alarm beeping furiously. "I'm so sorry, so sorry." He panicked, trying to move the pan but pulling back quickly when he burned his fingers. "I wanted to make you breakfast. You looked so tired sleeping, I didn't wake you." And then, Emma hurried to turn off the gas, cranked up the range hood, and wiped blackened bits off the stove with a wet rag. "It's okay, I'll fix it." "How'd you know I like eggs?" He scratched his head, a smudge of ash on his forehead, looking like a lost kitten. "I saw eggs in the fridge when you made porridge yesterday. I thought I'd make you fried eggs." His voice grew quieter, guilty. "Did I mess up?" "No, it's sweet of you," Emma smiled, taking 2 fresh eggs from the fridge. "Sit tight, I promise no burns this time." As she cracked the eggs, he stood beside her, watching intently like a student in class. He even noticed when egg yolk splattered on her hand and handed her a napkin. The toast was golden, the fried eggs crispy around the edges. Emma handed him a plate. "Eat, Trader Joe's organic milk, still good." He took a bite of toast, his eyes crinkling into crescents. "Better than last night's porridge." He ate neatly, no crumbs on his lips, stark contrast to Emma's messy bites. "Hey," Emma suddenly remembered, "I can't keep calling you, sir. Do you remember anything, even a single word?" He froze, setting down his milk. He thought hard, his brow furrowing and smoothing, before saying uncertainly, "I think I remember an E. Not sure if it's my name or something else." "Then I'll call you Ethan," Emma said. "My high school lab partner was named Ethan, nice name." Ethan nodded, repeating it, "Ethan, okay." He looked at Emma's smile, and something warm lit up in his chest. On Monday morning, Emma took Ethan to the nearby police station. Officer Rodriguez, a Latino man with a beard and reading glasses, typed their information into his computer while warning Emma, "Ma'am, I get wanting to help, but living alone, you gotta be careful. We checked recent missing persons reports, and no one matches his description. Call 911 if you notice anything off." "I will, thank you," Emma nodded, feeling a twinge of guilt. Ethan had followed her silently the whole time, his hands fisted in the hem of his hoodie, his eyes anxious, like a kid afraid of being abandoned. After leaving the station, Emma handed Ethan her apartment key. "I have to work. Can you stay here? There's milk and bread in the fridge, help yourself. Don't touch the stove or oven, though. You saw how that went yesterday." Ethan gripped the key tightly, the teddy bear keychain deforming in his hand. "When will you be back?" "Will it be late?" "Around 7 p.m., later if I have overtime." "I'll text you," Emma ruffled his hair, a natural gesture, like petting a neighbor's dog. Stay put, okay? Oakland's not the safest. Ethan nodded, watching Emma's figure disappear down the alley before slowly heading back to the apartment. Opening the door, he felt an unexpected sense of comfort in the small space. He walked to the desk, picking up Emma's operations notebook and flipping it open, filled with dense handwriting and colorful highlights, some pages marked with tiny smiles, others frowns, and notes like, "Alex changed the requirements again," scribbled in the margins. "User operations," Ethan murmured. Something stirred in his mind, but he couldn't grasp it. He remembered glancing at Emma's computer screen yesterday, filled with user data and charts, and a faint sense of familiarity had made his head ache. Shaking it off, he put the notebook back and started tidying. He folded Emma's clothes piled on the chair, washed the coffee mug on her desk with dish soap, and found a small spray bottle to water the wilted pothose on the balcony, drop by drop. Emma arrived at the office at 8:30, when most cubicles were still empty. She'd just turned on her computer when Maya walked over in high heels. Maya had been at the company a year longer, always in tight dresses and stilettos, her smile fake. "Emma, didn't rest well over the weekend?" Maya stared at her dark circles, still tweaking the winter campaign proposal. Emma's stomach dropped. She'd mentioned to Maya last week that, the proposal's almost done, not thinking twice. Now it was clear Maya had her eye on the project. Maya was always stealing credit. Last time, she'd rebranded Emma's Cyber Monday user acquisition proposal and presented it to Lisa, the director, as her own, earning a $500 bonus. Emma hadn't dared object. Maya was Lisa's distant niece, and as a new hire with no connections, she'd had to bite her tongue. Caught up on sleep, Emma forced a smile, opening her proposal document. She'd pulled 3 all-nighters, surveyed 1,000 users, and called 50 core users to discuss their needs. The proposal was detailed: an offline pop-up at Macy's in San Francisco's Union Square, high weekend foot traffic. An online live stream at 8 p.m., data showed peak user activity between 7 to 9 p.m., and a collaboration with Sherty, free milk tea for anyone who joined the event. "Oh, this is your proposal?" Maya leaned over, her eyes lighting up. "Looks thorough. Can you send me a copy? I'll check for gaps. I've run several pop-ups before, more experience." Emma's alarm bells went off. Maya was up to no good. She pulled the screen closer. "Not quite finished yet. I'll share it before submitting to Lisa this afternoon, thanks." Maya's smile faded. She turned and walked back to her cubicle, but Emma didn't see her snap a photo of the proposal's cover with her phone. Her screen was bright enough to capture the key details. The morning flew by with 100+ emails to answer and a colleague's event draft to edit. By the afternoon department meeting, Lisa, an Asian woman in her 40s with short hair, no nonsense, sat at the head of the table. "Today we'll review winter campaign proposals. Maya, you go first." Maya stood triumphantly, opening her PowerPoint, and Emma immediately recognized her own work. Only the planner field had been changed to Maya's name, and she'd even mistyped some data, like 87% of users want milk tea gifts, instead of 78%. "Lisa, I spent 2 weeks on this," Maya rambled, glancing at Emma defiantly. "Union Square for the pop-up, great foot traffic. We'll add a giveaway to the live stream to boost engagement." Emma's hands shook, her nails digging into her palm. Maya hadn't even mentioned the Sherty collaboration, clearly having skipped over the details in her rush to steal credit. Lisa listened, frowning slightly, nodding occasionally, but Emma saw doubt flicker in her eyes when Maya talked about live stream details. "Your turn, Emma," Lisa said. Taking a deep breath, Emma opened her backup PowerPoint. She'd saved it to a USB drive the night before, with a watermark. "Lisa, this is my proposal," she said. "I finished it late Friday night, but worked overtime yesterday and forgot to email it." Maya's face paled. She shot up. "Emma, what are you implying? That I copied you? Do you have proof?" In the details, Emma pulled up the user survey chart. "I surveyed 1,000 users, 78% wanted free milk tea samples, so I partnered with Sherty for 500 cups. And for the live stream, I analyzed 3 months of data, and 8 p.m. has 35% higher engagement than other times," details Maya's proposal doesn't include. Maya panicked, stammering, I just didn't write them all down. I thought of them, just haven't added them yet." Lisa said nothing, tapping her finger on the table. The room fell silent, only the sound of breathing. Emma's heart raced. She had no proof Maya had copied her, she'd never emailed the proposal, and no one had seen her work on it. Then her phone vibrated. it was a text from Ethan. Emma, you left your computer on. Saw your proposal, pop-ups outdoors. What if it rains? Add a temporary awning or move the line inside Macy's. Livestream needs more than giveaways, add a Share Your Winter Essentials segment to collect content for later posts. Emma's eyes lit up. Ethan had hit the proposal's weak spots, she'd forgotten to plan for rain, and the live stream lacked interaction. Lisa, one more thing, Emma hurried to add, we should put a temporary awning by the pop-up line to avoid ruining the user experience if it rains. And for the live stream, let users join via video call to share their winter essentials, it'll boost engagement and give us real content for social media. Lisa's eyes brightened, great detail. Emma, your proposal's much more thorough, user research, contingency plans. This is the one we'll go with. Maya, assist Emma, learn from her attention to detail. Maya's face turned white. She glared at Emma before slumping into her chair, the legs scraping loudly against the floor. After the meeting, Emma hid in the stairwell and texted Ethan, how do you know this stuff? User ops and event planning are super specialized. Ethan replied quickly, saw your proposal, noticed gaps. Felt like I've done this before, but can't remember. Emma stared at her phone, confused. Ethan couldn't even remember his own name, yet he understood event logistics and user psychology. She thought of his custom suit and Patek Philippe watch. Had he worked in marketing or management? But ops roles rarely came with that kind of wardrobe budget. When Emma got home that night, she was greeted by the smell of food. Ethan stood in the kitchen doorway, wearing her teddy bear apron, holding a plate of tomato scrambled eggs, his eyes hopeful. You're back. I saw tomatoes and eggs in the fridge, so I learned to make this on YouTube. Is it okay? On the counter were a bowl of stir-fried broccoli and seaweed egg drop soup. The eggs were overcooked, the broccoli mushy, and the egg drop soup had clumps, but Emma's chest felt warm, warmer than a cup of hot milk tea. You can cook now. You burnt eggs this morning. Emma set down her bag, taking a bite of the eggs, salty, but flavorful. Watched 3 tutorials. Ethan scratched his neck, sheepish. You said not to touch appliances, but the rice cooker and wok seemed easy. Did your proposal get approved? Emma's heart softened. She pulled him to the couch, telling him everything about the meeting, then asked, Ethan, did you work in marketing or management? Your advice was better than our team leads. Ethan's eyes dimmed. He gripped the couch cushion, his knuckles white. I don't know. When I saw your proposal, something came to me, but I can't say what. Every time I try to remember, my head hurts like it's being stabbed. Emma's heart tightened. She changed the subject. It's fine, don't push it. These eggs are great, better than mine. Just go easy on the salt next time. Ethan smiled, his eyes brighter than the table lamp. Got it. I made rice too, let's eat. During dinner, Emma noticed Ethan's little gestures. He kept giving her the eggs from his plate, eating the tomatoes himself. He picked the tender parts of the broccoli for her. It warmed her. Her ex Jake had always dumped his least favorite veggies on her, saying, you're too skinny, eat more. In the days that followed, Ethan became Emma's housekeeping prince. Every night when she got home, the apartment was spotless, her clothes folded neatly in the closet, her desk organized by project, even her stray socks washed and hung on the balcony. The kitchen always had hot food, sometimes pasta, sometimes fried rice, even burnt batches of cookies. Emma's work life got easier too. Following Ethan's advice, she finalized the pop-up plans. Macy's agreed to move the line indoors. Sherty confirmed her top 2 flavors, cheese strawberry and taro ball. She added a video call segment to the livestream and prepared custom mugs as gifts. Lisa praised her. Emma, you did excellent work, such attention to detail. I'll put in for a raise after the project. Emma was thrilled. On her way home, she bought 2 sausage links from 7-Eleven, one for Ethan, one for herself. Ethan took a bite, his eyes lighting up. Delicious. Better than my cookies. Of course, 7-Eleven's famous for these. I've loved them since high school, Emma smiled, the pop-up's next Saturday. Wanna come? I'll buy you share tea, and you can help with the event. Ethan's eyes lit up. He nodded hard, yes. I'll help, promise not to mess up. On the day of the event, Emma was swamped. The live stream had 5,000 viewers within minutes, comments scrolling fast, the pop-up line wrapped halfway around Macy's, and the share tea station was chaotic. Chris and the others were overwhelmed. Emma. First users on the video call. Chris yelled. Emma rushed to the live stream area, putting on her headphones, only to see a comment pop up, "Who's the guy at the milk tea station? So cute. The one in the gray hoodie." Emma looked up. Ethan, wearing the gray hoodie she bought him, was helping Sharitia's staff hand out cups. He was a little clumsy, but focused. Sunlight streamed through Macy's windows, gilding his profile, his messy brown hair soft in the light. He seemed to feel her gaze. Looking up and smiling at the camera, revealing two small dimples. Comments exploded. Ah, he smiled. So cute. Is that Emma's boyfriend? They're perfect. Need his Instagram. Emma's cheeks burned. She turned back to the camera. He's a friend helping out. Let's focus on the event, our first caller's waiting. The caller was a college student, holding a heated mug warmer. Emma, I use this every day for my milk tea, never gets cold. Wanted to share. Ethan stood nearby, whispering, note that, we can use it for a winter essentials post later. Users will love it. Emma nodded, grateful. The event was a huge success. App DAU, daily active users, jumped 25%, exceeding expectations. Lisa patted her shoulder, great job, Emma. I'll get you that $500 raise next month. That night, Emma took Ethan to her favorite Sichuan-style hot pot restaurant in Chinatown. Ethan helped her blanch beef tripe, cook shrimp balls, and mix her dipping sauce, no cilantro, just how she liked it. Eating the spicy hot pot, Emma looked at Ethan across the table and thought, this is what she wanted, someone waiting for her after work, someone to share meals with, no more squeezing Bart alone or eating instant noodles after overtime. Ethan, Emma set down her chopsticks, serious, if you never remember who you are, stay here. We can rent a bigger apartment, 2 bedrooms. You can get an easy job, like at a bookstore or cafe. I can support us. Ethan's hand paused. He looked up at her, his eyes shiny, really? You won't find me a hassle. I don't know how to do anything, and I mess up a lot. No, you're great, Emma shook her head, you clean, cook, help with my proposals. Better than most people. Ethan said nothing, just picking up the largest piece of beef tripe and putting it in her bowl. Eat quick, it gets tough if it's cold. Blanch it 15 seconds, max. Emma smiled, but her heart ached. She knew Ethan couldn't stay forever. Someday he'd remember who he was, leave this small apartment, and return to his old life. But she couldn't help hoping that day would never come. After the event, life returned to normal. Emma worked during the day, Ethan cleaned and cooked at home. They watched Netflix at night, walked around Lake Merritt on weekends, or ate dim sum in Chinatown, like any ordinary couple. Ethan's cooking got better, from tomato scrambled eggs to cola chicken wings, braised pork ribs, even Emma's favorite sweet and sour fish. He started packing her lunch every morning, tucking a note into her canvas tote, heat it up at noon, no iced coffee, you've got this afternoon. Colleagues envied her, Emma, your boyfriend's the best. Lunch every day, plus notes, so romantic. Emma always laughed and said, he's just a friend, but her heart felt sweet. She started saving secretly, hoping to rent a 2-bedroom apartment. This one was too small, Ethan's legs always hung off the couch, and she wanted to give him a real home. But happiness didn't last. On Sunday morning, Emma was making hot cocoa in the kitchen while Ethan watered the pot hose on the balcony when there was a knock at the door. Thinking it was a delivery, Emma opened it, only to find two tall men in black suits, stone-faced like movie bodyguards. Behind them stood a man in an Armani suit, gold-rimmed glasses, his hair slicked back, a crocodile-skin briefcase in hand. His gaze was arrogant, like a peacock. "Excuse me, is Ethan here?" The man's voice was cold. His eyes scanned the apartment like a scanner, from the cracked walls to the old couch, finally stopping on Emma's slippers. A sneer tugged at his lips. Emma's heart tightened. "Ethan? I don't know anyone named Ethan." She blocked the door, not wanting them in. "The man you're sheltering," the man sneered, pulling a photo from his briefcase and handing it to her. In the photo, Ethan stood in front of a skyscraper, smiling confidently, nothing like the confused man she knew. "He's Ethan Stellar, CEO of Stellar Group. I'm his cousin, Nathan. Now move, he needs to come home. The company's a mess without him." Emma's mind reeled. Stellar Group. She'd absolutely heard of it, a top-tier Silicon Valley investment firm worth billions, headquartered in San Francisco's iconic Transamerica Pyramid. Ethan, was its CEO. That very man, who'd burnt eggs to a char, worn her well-worn old hoodie, and even swept her tiny apartment, was a billionaire. At that moment, Ethan walked over from the balcony, still holding the spray bottle. When he saw Nathan, his eyes filled with instant wariness, like a threatened animal. He hid behind Emma, gripping her arm tightly. "I don't know you. I'm not going." "Quit being childish, brother." Nathan frowned, impatient. "You've been amnesiac for 2 weeks. The board's breathing down my neck. If you don't come back, Stellar Group will be stolen. Come with me, I'll get you the best doctors. Better than this dump." The word dump stabbed Emma. This apartment was small, old, but it was her home, Ethan's safe haven. No one had the right to mock it. "I don't know you. I'm not going." Ethan's fingers dug into her arm, his knuckles white. "Emma, I won't go. I want to stay with you. It's nice here, with you, porridge, sausages. I don't want to leave." Emma's heart ached, soft and sore. She stepped in front of Ethan, facing Nathan, her voice trembling but firm. "He says he doesn't know you, and he doesn't want to go. Forcing him is illegal." "Illegal?" Nathan scoffed, as if hearing a joke. "Miss, mind your own business. Stellar Group's affairs aren't for a $60,000 a year nobody to meddle in. You're sheltering him for money, right? Name your price, $50K. $100,000. $200,000. The words cut like a knife. Emma trembled with anger, but her face stayed calm. "I'm not doing this for money. When I found him, he was passed out on the street, bleeding. I couldn't leave him. He doesn't want to go with you. If you force him, I'll call 911. "Call 911. Nathan sneered, threatening. "You think the police care about the Stellas? Be smart. Move. Or I'll make sure you can't find a job in Oakland, ever." Before he finished, Ethan stepped out from behind Emma. The confusion was gone from his eyes, replaced by a cold sharpness Emma had never seen, like winter ice. "Touch her, and you'll regret it." Nathan froze. That look was pure Ethan Stellar, calm, sharp, authoritative. He felt a flicker of fear, but forced it down. "Brother, don't be fooled by this woman. She's a nobody, no degree, no connections. You're not in the same world. Come back with me, models, actresses, socialites, whatever you want. I don't want anyone else. I want Emma." Ethan walked to her side, taking her hand. His palm was warm, giving her strength. "Emma, call 911. Emma looked at his determined eyes, suddenly brave. She pulled out her phone, dialing 911 in front of Nathan, her voice clear. "Hi, 911. I'm at my apartment on 19th Street in Oakland. 3 men are trying to force my friend to leave, and they're threatening me. Yes, they're still here. I'm scared. Nathan hadn't expected her to actually call. His face changed, he was arrogant, but he didn't dare cause a scene with the police. Media coverage would tank Stellar Group's stock. Fine, you win, Nathan glared at Emma, venom in his eyes. Ethan, mark my words, I'll be back. We'll see how long this woman can protect you. He stormed off with the bodyguards, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. After the door closed, Emma's hands still trembled. Ethan held her hand, leading her to the couch, then went to the kitchen to get her a cup of hot cocoa. I'm sorry you had to go through that. It's okay, Emma shook her head, tears spilling. Ethan, are you really Stellar Group CEO? The rich guy with mansions and sports cars? Ethan was silent for a moment, then nodded. He wiped her tears gently, seeing Nathan brought back fragments. He's my uncle's son. He's always wanted to take over the company. I got into a car accident. I was on my way to sign an important contract, and someone rear-ended me. I hit my head, and when I woke up, I couldn't remember anything. Emma felt empty. A Stellar Group CEO and a regular ops specialist, they lived in two worlds. Someday he'd remember everything, leave, and forget this small apartment, her millet porridge, the name Ethan. Would he think she was beneath him, like Nathan said? Ethan seemed to read her mind. He pulled her into a gentle hug, careful not to hurt her. Emma, no matter who I am, I won't leave you. Even if I'm Ethan Stellar, I'm still the guy who burnt your eggs, helped with your proposals, and loves 7-Eleven sausages. My title won't change that. Emma buried her face in his chest, breathing in the faint scent of her laundry detergent, and cried harder. Really? You won't think I'm not good enough? No fancy degree, no money. No, Ethan cut her off, his voice serious. You're perfect. Kind, hardworking, caring, better than all those spoiled socialites. I like you for you, not your resume or bank account. That afternoon, Emma skipped work, and Ethan didn't clean. They sat on the couch, talking for hours. Ethan remembered more. His parents had died when he was little, his grandfather had raised him. After his grandfather passed, he'd taken over Stellar Group, and Nathan had always resented it. He liked mild food, hated spicy, but had loved the hot pot with her. Emma told him about her life too, growing up on her parents' corn farm in Iowa, how hard they'd worked to send her to college in California, jumping between two jobs before joining Aurora Labs. Even though the pay was low, she loved the work, her dream of buying a small house with a yard, so her parents could move to California. The sunset streamed through the window, stretching their shadows long. Emma looked at Ethan's profile, thinking, even if he went back to being a CEO, even if their worlds were different, these days would be her most precious memory. But Nathan wasn't done. 3 days later, Emma received a package, a $500,000 check, and a note. Ms. Emma, take this money and leave Ethan. You're not in his league, don't embarrass yourself. A Stellar Group CEO's wife can never be someone like you. Emma stared at the check, angry and amused. She tore it up and threw it in the trash, then texted Nathan, I don't want your money. Ethan decides who he stays with. If you harass us again, I'll tell Stellar Group's board and the media how you treated your amnesiac brother, and the person who saved him. When she turned around, Ethan was standing in the doorway, holding a cup of hot cocoa, his eyes soft. He walked over, handing it to her. Good for you. I knew my Emma was brave. Emma took the cocoa, warmth spreading through her. She knew she couldn't lose this fight, not for Ethan, but for herself, for everyone like her who worked hard and deserved respect. That night, Ethan made sweet and sour fish for her and bought her favorite cheese strawberry milk tea from Cherty. Sipping the milk tea and eating the fish, Emma thought, no matter what trouble came next, she wasn't afraid, as long as Ethan was with her. Watching her smile, Ethan made a silent vow, he'd recover his memories soon, take down Nathan, and give Emma a stable home, so she'd never be wronged again. He pulled out his phone, texting his assistant, find Nathan's recent movements. And get the traffic cam footage from the day of my accident. I need the truth. Ethan regained all his memories on a rainy night. Emma had worked until 10 p.m., and the rain poured down, thunder rumbling. She stood outside the office, staring at her Uber app, 20 people ahead of her. She was about to give up when a black Bentley pulled up. The window rolled down, and Ethan's face appeared. He wore a custom dark blue suit, his tie neat, hair styled, his eyes sharp, nothing like the hoodie-clad Ethan she knew. But when his gaze met hers, it softened, warm with worry. "Get in. Don't get wet." Emma froze. How are you here? Why are you dressed like this?" "To pick you up," Ethan got out, opening a large black umbrella and holding it over her. His shoulder was soaked, but he didn't care, the rain's too heavy. Waiting for an Uber alone isn't safe. Emma didn't argue, getting in the car. It was warm inside, filled with a faint cedar scent, just like him. Ethan handed her a dry towel. "Dry your hair. Don't catch a cold." The towel was new, with a faint lavender scent. As Emma dried her hair, she wondered, Ethan was different today. No confusion in his eyes, just a quiet determination she couldn't read. "Emma," Ethan said suddenly, his voice steady, "I remember everything." Emma's hand paused. Her heart raced. "You remember? Your company, your cousin, the accident?" "Yes," Ethan nodded, guilt in his eyes. "On the day of the accident, I was on my way to sign a deal with a European firm. Nathan hired someone to rear-end me, hoping I'd lose my memory so he could take over. Yesterday, I went to Stellar Group's headquarters. Seeing the documents and accident report jogged everything. Nathan transferred core projects to his name while I was amnesiac, even forged my signature." Emma felt empty. She looked down at the towel, her voice dry. "So, you'll go back to the company? Stellar Group needs you." "Yes, there's a lot to fix." Ethan looked at her, his eyes complex. "Emma, thank you. These 2 weeks were the happiest, most peaceful of my life. I used to think work and money were everything, but with you, I learned that coming home to hot food, someone waiting, being cared for, that's real happiness." Emma forced a smile, holding back tears. "It's nothing. I'm glad you remembered. Stellar Group can't run without you." But she thought, he'd go back to being a CEO, to his mansion and Michelin meals. Their story was over. The car fell silent, only the swish of the windshield wipers. Emma stared at the rain outside, her heart as cold as the downpour. When they reached her apartment building, Emma unbuckled her seatbelt, ready to get out. "I'll head up. Take care. If you ever want millet porridge, I can make it for you." "Emma," Ethan grabbed her wrist, not hard, but she couldn't pull away. "I'm not finished." Emma turned back, meeting his eyes, no longer gentle, but firm, earnest. "I remember everything, but I don't want Nathan to know," Ethan said. "He hasn't shown his whole hand yet. I'll keep faking amnesia until I have proof of his embezzlement and the accident. Anne." He paused, hope in his eyes. "I want to keep living here, keep being your Ethan. I don't want to lose you, just because I remembered who I am." Emma froze, tears threatening to spill. "Why? You're Stellar Group CEO. You could live in a San Francisco penthouse, eat at Alain Ducasse. You don't have to squeeze into this small apartment with me." "Because I want to be with you." Ethan's voice was serious. "Emma, I like you for you, not your apartment or your job. I like eating Trader Joe's instant noodles with you, walking around Lake Merritt, watering the pot hose. That's better than any penthouse or Michelin meal. I want to keep making you breakfast, leaving you notes, helping with your proposals. Can I?" Emma nodded hard, tears finally falling. "Yes. Of course yes." From that day on, Ethan lived a double life. By day, he was Stellar Group's CEO, sharp and decisive in San Francisco's skyscrapers, gathering evidence against Nathan. By night, he was her hoodie-clad Ethan, back in the Oakland apartment, cooking for her, editing her PowerPoints, even learning to knit a scarf, lumpy, full of holes, but he tried. At first, Emma felt surreal, watching him leave in a suit in the morning, then come home in a hoodie to make dinner. But slowly, she saw that he hadn't changed. He still remembered she hated cilantro, still picked her up from work when she overtime, still comforted her when she had a bad day. Ethan started secretly helping her too. Once, she complained to him that the office coffee machine made bitter, watery coffee. The next day, a brand new Breville espresso machine arrived at Aurora Labs, addressed to Emma, sender listed as a friend. Colleagues gushed, "Emma, who sent this? It's thousands of dollars." Emma knew it was Ethan, but just smiled, probably a contest prize. Not long after, her landlord raised the rent from $2,800 to $4,000, threatening to evict her if she refused. Emma panicked. Oakland rents were skyrocketing, and 2 bedrooms cost over $3,500. Ethan mentioned casually, "A friend of mine has a 2-bedroom in downtown Oakland. It's empty right now. He'll rent it to you for $2,800. Wanna see it?" Emma went with him, and her jaw dropped. The apartment was in a new building, with 2 bedrooms, a spacious living room, and a south-facing balcony with a view of Lake Merritt. The furniture was exactly her style: light gray couch, wooden desk, and a flower stand on the balcony with a pot hose, just like her old one. "Your friend likes pot hose too?" Emma asked. Ethan smiled, "Yeah. He knows you like it, so he put it there." Later, Emma found out, the apartment wasn't his friend's. He'd bought it for her, making up the friend story to spare her pride. When they moved in, she looked at the pot hose on the balcony and felt warm. Ethan remembered every little thing about her. Maya didn't give up either. Seeing Emma's success, she stole Emma's workplace mental health app proposal, rebranded it, and tried to present it to Lisa. Ethan found out, and showed up at Aurora Labs department meeting as Stellar Group's investor. Right after Maya finished her presentation, Ethan spoke up, "Ms. Maya, your proposal lacks user research and contingency plans, it's disorganized. I've seen Ms. Emma's version, 1,000 user surveys, 50 in-depth interviews, and thorough details. Hers is far more professional." Maya's face turned white. She didn't dare argue. Ethan was the company's investor, and Lisa deferred to him. Lisa hurried to say, "Since Mr. Ethan thinks so, Emma will lead this project. Maya, assist her." After that, Maya never bothered Emma again. She even greeted her politely in the hallway. Emma wasn't naive, she knew Ethan was behind all this. It warmed her, but she also worried. He was a CEO, she was a regular employee. Could they really bridge that gap? Would she hold him back? On the weekend, Ethan took her to a house in the San Francisco suburbs. It had a small yard, filled with sunflowers, golden blooms turned toward the sun, like a field of little suns. "This was my mom's house." Ethan held her hand, walking into the yard. She loved sunflowers. She used to say they always face the sun. "No matter how hard life gets, you can find light." When I was little, she'd take me here to plant them, teaching me to be optimistic, strong. Emma looked at the sunflowers, her heart soft. She thought of her mom, who taught her the same thing: never give up, no matter what. "Emma," Ethan stopped, turning to her, his eyes earnest, "I know what you're worried about. I'm Stellar Group's CEO, but I'm also the guy who burnt your eggs, helped with your proposals, and loves 7-Eleven sausages. I won't make you change for me. If you love user ops, keep doing it. I'll help you find better resources, so you can work on projects you love. If you want to stay in a small apartment, we will. If you want shirty milk tea, I'll wait in line with you, no matter who recognizes me." He pulled a small box from his pocket, opening it, not a diamond ring, but a silver one, engraved with an E and a tiny sunflower. "I ground the shell from the first eggs I burnt for you into powder, mixed it with silver." Ethan slipped the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. "Emma, marry me. Not as Stellar Group CEO's wife, but as Ethan's wife. I want to plant sunflowers with you in this yard, make breakfast together, live an ordinary life forever." Emma looked at the ring, tears falling, but she smiled. Yes. I do. Ethan pulled her into a tight hug, as if he never wanted to let go. The sunflowers swayed in the wind, as if cheering for them. The sun shone down, warm and bright. Emma knew, she'd found her sunflower, someone who would always face her. No matter what challenges came, she wasn't afraid. She had Ethan, the man who loved her for exactly who she was. Nathan found out Ethan had recovered his memories at the board meeting a month later. Stellar Group's board met in the top-floor conference room of the Transamerica Pyramid. The directors sat around the table, serious. Ethan, in a suit, sat at the head, holding a stack of documents. "Gentlemen, I have an announcement." Ethan's voice was steady. "While I was amnesiac, Nathan Stellar embezzled $100 million in company funds, transferring it to his offshore accounts. He forged my signature to hand core projects to his own company, and most importantly, my car accident wasn't an accident. Nathan planned it, hoping amnesia would let him take over." He pushed the documents across the table: Chase bank statements, a recording of Nathan talking to the hit-and-run driver, "Just knock him unconscious, money's no problem," and messages between Nathan and a third-party firm: "Once I control Stellar, I'll kick out the old directors." The boardroom erupted in chaos. Directors tore into Nathan, who turned deathly pale, not a single defense escaping his lips. Ethan fixed him with a frigid stare: "I've called the police, they're on their way." Minutes later, officers stepped into the conference room, moving to take Nathan into custody. As they hauled him out, he thrashed against their grip, screaming at Ethan, "You think you've won? Ethan, that Emma's just a nobody. She'll never be good enough for you. You two will break up, and you'll regret this forever." Ethan paid him no mind, pulling out his phone to text Emma, "Taking you to your favorite Sichuan hot pot tonight, we'll celebrate our victory." But Nathan wasn't finished. Bailed out, he snapped, blaming Emma for every one of his failures. He was convinced without her, Ethan would have stayed under his thumb, and Stellar Group would be his, so he hired 2 thugs to kidnap Emma on her commute, locking her in an abandoned Fremont factory. The factory was out in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by weeds. Emma was tied to a chair, mouth taped shut, only able to mumble. Nathan had her phone, but that morning, Ethan had slipped a tiny tracker into her necklace: "It's not safe lately, I'll find you." Nathan stood in front of her, a fruit knife in his hand, his eyes crazy: "Emma, this is all your fault. Without you, Ethan would have been mine. Stellar Group would have been mine. You bitch, you ruined everything." Emma wasn't afraid, she knew Ethan would come. She looked at Nathan's crazy face, feeling only contempt. This man would hurt his own cousin for money and power. He was worthless. Sure enough, soon the factory door creaked open. Ethan walked in, followed by police and FBI agents. His face was dark, his eyes filled with rage and fear. When he saw Emma tied to the chair, a shallow cut on her neck, his heart felt like it was being stabbed. "Nathan, you're under arrest." Ethan's voice was cold as ice: "Kidnapping, extortion, embezzlement, conspiracy to commit assault. The evidence is overwhelming. You'll spend years in prison." Nathan panicked. He grabbed Emma's hair, pressing the knife to her neck, yelling at Ethan, "Don't come closer. Ethan, one step, and I'll kill her. If I can't have a good life, neither can you." The knife nicked Emma's neck, a drop of blood oozing out. She winced, but didn't flinch. Ethan stopped, his anger boiling over. "Let her go. Take me instead. Don't hurt her." "Take you?" Nathan sneered, "You ruined everything. You love her. I'll make you watch her die. Hand over Stellar Group's share transfer papers, or..." Before he could finish, FBI agents rushed forward, yanking the knife from his hand and slamming him to the ground. Handcuffs clicked shut. Nathan struggled, screaming, "Ethan, I'll get you. Emma, I'll haunt you forever." Ethan ignored him, rushing to Emma. He cut the ropes, tore off the tape, and pulled her into a gentle hug. "Emma, it's okay. I'm here. I'm so sorry you got hurt." Emma buried her face in his chest, crying but smiling. "I knew you'd come. I wasn't scared, not for a second. I knew you'd protect me." Ethan stroked her hair, careful not to touch her neck. He turned to the police. "Please handle this case thoroughly. I'll provide all evidence needed." As Nathan was led away, he kept screaming, but no one paid him attention. His ambition, power, and wealth had all crumbled. A long prison sentence awaited him. Emma's neck was only a minor cut, doctors said it would heal with ointment. But Ethan fussed over her, applying the ointment every day, forbidding her from doing any housework, spoiling her like a princess. "It's just a small cut," Emma smiled, watching him concentrate on her neck. "You don't have to worry so much." "I have to," Ethan shook his head. "What if it scars? I'd never forgive myself." Emma didn't argue, letting him care for her. She knew, Ethan truly loved her, more than anything. A week later, Ethan held a small wedding for her in the sunflower yard in the suburbs. They invited only a few people: Sophia, Chris, Lisa, and a few stellar group directors who'd grown to like Emma for her kindness and courage. Emma wore a simple white dress, custom-made by Ethan's designer. Ethan wore a light blue shirt, no suit, just like an ordinary groom. Sophia hugged her, crying, "You're finally married. I knew you'd find someone who treats you like a princess. Ethan's a good man, you deserve this happiness." Emma smiled, tears falling. "I will. Thank you, sophomore." The wedding was simple but warm. Ethan slipped a diamond ring onto her finger, next to the silver one. "This ring is my promise," he said, his eyes soft. "I'll love you forever, protect you, make you happy. Whether I'm Stellar Group CEO or just your Ethan, I'll always be by your side." Emma had a gift for him too, a lumpy scarf she'd knitted, after practicing for weeks. "I worked hard on this," she said. "It's not perfect, but it's warm. I know you have expensive scarves, but this one's mine." Ethan wrapped it around his neck immediately, smiling. "It's perfect. I'll wear it every day, even to meetings." Married life was exactly what Emma had hoped for, full of warmth and routine. Ethan never asked her to quit her job. "You love user ops, don't give that up for me." Emma thrived at Aurora Labs, eventually promoted to operations manager, leading a team of 5 interns. Ethan dropped her off at work every morning and picked her up at night. On weekends, they camped in Yosemite, watched Giants baseball games, or visited her parents' corn farm in Iowa. Ethan learned fast, soon operating the tractor like a pro. Her parents adored him. Once, Lily, one of her interns, asked, "Manager Emma, your husband's Stellar Group CEO. Why do you still work? Wouldn't it be easier to be a rich housewife?" Emma smiled, looking out the window. Ethan's Bentley was parked below, and he leaned against it, holding a cup of cheese strawberry milk tea, her favorite. "Because I love this job," she said. "I love working with users, watching my projects grow. And Ethan says, I don't need to rely on him. I can shine on my own." Lily nodded, still a little confused. Emma grabbed her bag and laughed, hurrying downstairs. "Ethan, did you wait long? Is the milk tea cold?" Ethan took her bag, handing her the drink. "Just bought it, still warm. What do you want for dinner?" "I'll make sweet and sour fish, you mentioned craving it yesterday." "Yay." Emma sipped the milk tea, linking her arm with his. "Oh, and let's visit my parents this weekend. They said they miss you, and Mom's making your favorite apple pie." "Sounds good," Ethan nodded, his eyes soft as he looked at her. He'd once thought success meant money and power, but now he knew, success was coming home to the woman he loved, sharing meals, watching the sunset, living an ordinary life together. The sunset painted the San Francisco streets gold. Emma leaned her head on Ethan's shoulder, feeling safe and content. She knew, she hadn't married a CEO. She'd married the man who'd fainted on an Oakland street, burned her eggs, and loved her for exactly who she was. The man who made her believe, ordinary girls could find their happiness, no connections, no wealth, just by being themselves. And Ethan knew, he hadn't married a regular employee. He'd married the woman who'd saved him on a rainy night, stayed by his side when he had no memory, and given him a home. The woman who taught him, power and money meant nothing without someone to share them with. Their story had no grand drama, just quiet warmth and a satisfying ending. Like the sunflowers in their yard, they always faced each other, full of hope, forever happy.